In 1967, Australians voted in the most successful referendum in the country's history. Over 90% voted yes to have Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people counted as Australian citizens. Now, 45 years later, organisation Recognise and their youth campaign coordinator, Peter Dawson, are working towards a referendum they are hoping will see the same success.
I'm 22. My family come from Wagga Wagga in New South Wales, which is Wiradjuri country, and I work at Recognise, which is the campaign to recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the Constitution. And we get out there into Australian communities all across the country and talk about recognition. Constitutional recognition is about recognising the first Australians in our founding document. It's also about removing the racially discriminatory sections that still remain in our Constitution. So you won't find the words Indigenous or Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander anywhere in our Constitution, even though Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are the oldest living culture in the world and we've been here for over 60,000 years.
For Peter, this is not just a job, but a personal and emotional issue.
For me and my family's story, my grandmother grew up at a time when she was told not to recognise her Aboriginality. It was something to be ashamed of. And that's a really sad part of our story, and I think this is the next step, and it's about being proud of who we are, and all Australians being proud of the Indigenous history of this land together.
The organisation's media officer Shannon Dodson also feels a strong connection to the issue.
Obviously, I'm an Indigenous person, my family's Indigenous, and it's just not right that they're not recognised under our Australian Constitution. I mean, that just doesn't make sense in this day and age, and I feel like if we recognise the fact that there was people here tens of thousands of years before colonisation, we'll be telling a truth to ourselves as a nation.
Another truth of the nation is that it has only approved 8 out of 44 referendums since 1906.
So you have to have a really sound proposal, you have to have something that makes sense to people, and you also have to have bipartisan or multi-party political support, which we're really lucky to have. Every major political party supports constitutional recognition.
Prime Minister Tony Abbott has been a major supporter of the referendum.
What we need to do now is properly put the Indigenous people of our country into the Constitution. This is something that is important to me, it's important to my party, to my coalition. It's been our policy since 2007.
With all major political parties supporting constitutional recognition, it's now up to the people to vote yes in a referendum in 2015. This is Lena Stenset reporting for Notre Dame News.